Hey everyone, and a super warm welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into something I've been using a lot lately, the iPhone 16e. It's been about 2 months since it launched back in February. Some folks thought this was going to be the iPhone SE4, but nope, Apple called it the 16e. I'm guessing the E stands for essential, and honestly, that makes a lot of sense. It's like Apple's way of offering a more budget-friendly option while still keeping it in the main iPhone lineup. I've been using the 16e as my main phone for the past 2 months. I really wanted to live with it, not just glance at the specs, but actually see how it holds up day to day. And if you've picked one up too, I'd seriously love to hear what you think. Drop a comment below after the video. Alright, let's jump into the everyday experience. First up, the battery. Honestly, it's really good. Surprisingly good for a phone this size. Apple hyped up its breakthrough battery life and, yeah, it actually delivers. I've seen plenty of other people online saying the same thing too. There was this one day I was out snapping tons of pictures, scrolling endlessly through social media, basically pushing the phone all day, and by the time I got home that night, I still had some juice left. Now, performance. The 16e has the same A-series chip as the more expensive iPhone 16, and it feels smooth, whether it's scrolling, watching videos, or even doing some heavy gaming. Technically, the graphics part is slightly less powerful than the regular 16, but honestly, I played Resident Evil 4 on it, and it handled it just fine. For daily use, it's more than enough power. Let's talk about the look and feel because, well, you're going to be holding this thing every day, right? First off, it definitely feels like an iPhone. No surprises there. Actually, it looks a whole lot like the iPhone 14, which honestly isn't a bad thing at all. You get that familiar flat-sided aluminum frame, the sturdy ceramic shield on the front glass, which Apple says makes it tougher, and just an overall classic iPhone vibe. I've got the matte black one here, and honestly, it feels pretty premium in the hand. It's not slippery either, which is a big plus. The back only has a single camera lens, and it sits almost flush with the body. No massive camera bump to wobble the phone when it's on a table. It's a small thing, but it makes a difference in everyday use. Oh, and it's IP68 water and dust resistant. That's definitely comforting. I actually had a close call the other day. I was juggling my keys and a coffee, almost fumbled the phone onto some wet pavement. Heart skipped a beat for sure. Luckily, even if it had gotten splashed, it would have been fine. And honestly, the grip felt secure enough that it didn't slip. So yeah, design-wise, the 16e is comfortable, familiar, and seems pretty durable, even though it only comes in black and white. Now, onto the screen. This is where things get a little interesting. The 16th sports a 6.1-inch OLED screen, which Apple calls Super Retina XDR. And yeah, it's a good-looking display. Colors are bright, blacks are nice and deep, and overall, it's a definite step up if you're coming from an older iPhone with an LCD screen. Watching videos, browsing photos, everything looks sharp and vibrant. But the notch. Yep, the good old black bar at the top is still here, holding all the Face ID tech. Meanwhile, the fancier iPhone 16 models have that dynamic island thing that changes and moves. The 16th sticks with the classic notch. Not a huge deal, but if you're into having the latest look, it might feel a little dated. Also, the bezels around the screen, the black borders, are just a tiny bit thicker than on the more premium models. Again, not a huge issue, but noticeable if you're picky. And then there's the refresh rate. It's capped at 60 Hz. That means scrolling and animations aren't quite as buttery smooth as on phones with 90 Hz or 120 Hz screens, which are super common in 2025, even on cheaper Androids. Is 60 Hz bad? Not at all. iPhones rocked 60 Hz for years, and it's totally fine for everyday stuff. But if you've been using a high refresh phone, you might notice scrolling feels a little less slick at first. I definitely did for the first day or two. After that, though, my eyes totally adjusted, and now it doesn't bother me. Still, it's one of those trade-offs that comes with the lower price point. Just something to keep in mind. Okay, the camera. It's got one main 48-megapixel sensor on the back, and honestly, for just snapping day-to-day photos, it's actually pretty lovely. Even when the lighting isn't great, night mode kicks in and helps keep shots looking bright and sharp. It can do a decent 2 times zoom digitally, which is handy, but just a heads up. There's no ultra-wide lens and no telephoto lens here. So, if you're someone who loves capturing those epic wide landscapes or zooming way in on distant subjects, you might feel a bit limited. But for everyday stuff, selfies, food pics, random moments, it absolutely gets the job done. Speaking of selfies, the front camera is decent too. Nothing mind-blowing, but definitely good enough for social media. Another cool thing Apple added is the new Apple Intelligence features. Basically a bunch of AI tools to help with writing, creating fun images, and more. Siri's supposed to be a bit smarter now too. Plus, they added the action button, which used to be a pro-only thing. You can set it to quickly launch different apps or actions, and honestly, it's pretty handy. Makes the 16th feel a little more modern. Alright, let's be real. No phone is perfect. What are the downsides? Well, like I mentioned earlier, the notch definitely feels a bit old school for 2025. It's not a huge deal for everyone, but once you've seen the newer dynamic island on the other iPhones, it's hard not to notice. Then there's the 60 Hz refresh rate. Again, totally fine for most things, but if you've ever used a 90 Hz or 120 Hz display, you'll probably feel the difference when you're scrolling quickly. It's just not as buttery smooth as it could be, and that might be a big thing for some people. Another downside, no MagSafe charging. You can still use regular wireless charging, but without that nice magnetic click MagSafe gives. Charging speed with a cable isn't anything crazy either. It's fine, but it's not blazing fast like some Android phones out there. And yeah, let's talk about price for a second. Starting at $599, it's definitely pricier than the old iPhone SE lineup used to be. Not a crazy expensive phone, but not exactly what I'd call cheap either. Is the iPhone 16e still worth it? Honestly, I think it's a really solid phone. You get that super fast to 18 chip, awesome battery life, a very good camera for everyday needs, and of course, all the good stuff that comes with being in the Apple ecosystem. Things like iMessage, FaceTime, AirDrop, and super long-term software support. The big question, though, is who exactly is this phone for? If you're still rocking an older iPhone, like an SE, iPhone 11, or even an iPhone 12, this is going to feel like a massive upgrade. No question. The speed jump alone with the A18 chip is night and day. Plus, that OLED screen is a huge improvement if you're coming from an LCD, and the battery life is just way better. Seriously, you'll notice it on day one. It's also a great pick if you're thinking about getting your first iPhone. Or maybe you already have a MacBook, an iPad, and you want everything to just work together, but you don't want to spend pro model money. This is a much more affordable way to get into that modern Apple experience without completely emptying your wallet. And hey, definitely keep an eye out for carrier deals or seasonal discounts. Sometimes you can snag it for less. And that definitely makes the $599 starting price a little easier to swallow. But, and it's a pretty important but, you really do have to think about the compromises. Also, it's worth mentioning that in this price range, the competition is fierce. You can find Android phones for the same price, or even less, that have 120 Hz displays, triple camera setups, and faster charging. So it really comes down to what you value most. If you prioritize having the smooth Apple software experience, the long-term updates, the rock-solid A18 performance, and amazing battery life, the iPhone 16e will absolutely be worth it for you. But if things like a high refresh rate display, super fast charging, or a more versatile camera setup are more important to you, there might be better options out there. At the end of the day, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. It totally depends on your personal needs, your budget, and what you actually do with your phone day to day. Anyway, that's my full review after living with the iPhone 16e for 2 months. I really tried to give you the full picture. The good, the bad, and the it depends. I really hope this breakdown helped you if you're on the fence about whether or not to buy it. And now, I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you considering the iPhone 16e? Thanks a ton for watching and reading, and sticking with me till the end. If you found this helpful or interesting, please give it a thumbs up. It seriously helps the channel. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on future reviews, tech chats, and more. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and happy phone hunting.